I'm on something, Daddy.
Well, welcome to another edition of Island Sports Talk. I'm joined with Dage Miners back on the island. Obviously, COVID-19 still affecting your activity over in Franklin Pierce University as an assistant coach, but you're on island, and the fact that you had an opportunity to get on the newly laid track, although it's been a delay in it, give us a sense of what the track was like for you as it's now being used, having been resurfaced.
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. But the track, it kind of felt like when you put on a new shoe. You could tell it was brand new and hasn't really been broken in yet. But they definitely done a good job in relaying it. I think it was definitely time to relay it. So kudos to them for getting that done.
Yeah. Now, you took part in the series that kind of you guys, Lamont, and you all have put together to see if we can get some of our athletes that are on island that haven't had the opportunity to compete get out there. Your mindset in helping to put this together, and actually, as Lamont said, it was your idea just to go out and run on that first day, even if it was just you by yourself or you and him.
Yeah. So things have obviously been different for everyone, built wherever for COVID and stuff like that. But I remember it must have been sometime in May, like late in the evening. Lamont had hit me up and was like, "Yo, like I'm thinking about putting on something here. Like give me your feedback." And then he laid it out to me, and I was like, "Yeah, you seem to have everything that we should do." And then he was just bouncing off ideas of each other from each other, and then he was telling me like Cheyenne Smith was involved and stuff like that. So like again, like kudos to Lamont for actually for saying, all right, we need to get something going and taking the initiative so that we could do this. And I think it has potential to these next three races to be really good.
Yeah. Now, looking at how he laid it out, or how you guys laid it out, you ran a 3,000. First time you ran a 3,000 in quite some time, isn't it?
Yeah. So I run one indoors a few years ago, probably about 2-3 years now, but outdoor, that had been the first time since probably under 17 Carifta. So you're looking at high school, so at least 8 to 10 years ago for sure.
How did you feel? I mean, you looked like you had a rhythm very early. You got out early, but how did it feel going around, especially the last two laps, because you had such a big lead, but I think you were more concentrated on getting a time, getting a finish.
Yeah. So I didn't really have any crazy goals going into it. We kind of just wanted to see where I was at. Um, kind of been what they call training blind. Haven't really had anything to look forward to. So I just said, you know what, I'll get out hard, put myself in a position, and then just finish it. I wasn't really looking for a time. I just wanted to feel relaxed, feel comfortable, so then I can look afterwards and say, okay, that felt easy or that felt hard. And, it felt easy. I got through about 6 laps, and then the heat started to come in, but right when the race was getting done. So I'll take it.
Right. What would you enjoy more, running on the track or doing a road race? Because a road race is kind of more challenging, especially in Bermuda, with hills and the elements of vehicles coming by and all that.
Well, I definitely prefer the track 100%. I think if you get a good crowd on the track and the weather's good, you can make some magic. So I definitely take the track. But obviously, the two big road races we have here in Bermuda, you can see magic happening there, both Front Street Mile and May 24th. So those two are definitely different than most track races. But I think I'd always rather run fast on the track than fast on the road.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned May 24th. It's one of those things where you've always been kind of off the island around that time. I remember even when Mike Watson was away in school a lot, doing the 800, doing the 15, and then he decided, let me concentrate and try to win May 24th at least once, and he got that bit in his mouth and went on to win it several more times. But your path is similar. Can we see you down the road possibly challenging for the biggest race in Bermuda?
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely the biggest race in Bermuda on both, culturally, the history, the tradition. So to say that I would never want to run it or not want to do well in it would be lying. That's something I definitely would like to do. Whether or not right now, I don't know. Not saying I couldn't run 13 miles, but I think running 13 miles and racing 13 miles is a little different.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Maybe the next 2 or 3 years I'll give it a shot. But I don't know. It's not in my calendar for 2021. That's for sure.
Right. You indicated to me when everything started shutting down and you were still in the States, you were talking about putting some emphasis on the Commonwealth Games in 2022. Is that still like the top of your bill right now for a 2 year window?
Yeah, I think I'm 24, going 25. So at this point, you know, we obviously training to be at those high meets, the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, Pan Am Games. So yeah, that as a simple answer, yeah. But we take every day as it comes and just look to get better each day and not really focus on 2022. If that makes any sense, kind of just
Mhm.
approach each day, try to get better each day, and what you do today, you go again, do it tomorrow, and then hopefully that when the time comes, you'll be ready to run fast, hit the qualifying time, and make those such meets.
Yeah. Looking at what the young people in Franklin Pierce, I'm only going to use Franklin Pierce because that's where you were and that's where you're kind of assisting the coaching aspect. They're missing out a lot this year, not being able to compete. I'm not sure if they're able to train, but not being able to compete. Is that a setback for them?
As far as I know, they're training pretty much as normal. Um, and I guess I think that's a case by case on who it would affect differently. I know some when I was a student athlete, like a lot of guys, you get some guys who look forward to racing, other guys would prefer a few months of training. So I think case by case, and then the coach would obviously just have to pick and choose, his spots of when they want to, have a training session that kind of is like a race because at the end of the day, you can't really mock racing. Like the only way to race is actually race.
Right, right.
So I think but you can obviously try some things to get that similar environment. But I think they'll handle it okay, and they got a few new young guys, so maybe the months of no racing might actually help them, and then they got a lot of experience coming back as well. So I think they'll be in a decent spot to win the regional meet, make it to nationals, and do well at stuff like that.
Yeah. Must be tough on the senior athlete if this was their last year to do cross country and looking forward to getting that early start. Tough, tough, tough because, like I said, your last year, a springboard year into the indoor and into the outdoor. And most guys that like the middle distance to the longer distance like to get in that cross country training as a base. What
Exactly.
would you be telling them?
Well, I guess no, you can still train to get that base, and you might actually be able to train harder because there's no races on the weekend. So that's one way to look at it. Where if you're racing on the weekend, you're kind of not, you're balancing building that base, but also looking to run fast for the team and compete like that. But yeah, for those guys who going into the last year, obviously I've never been in a situation like that, so I don't know how I would react, but I'd imagine I'd be a little upset. But at the end of the day, like everyone's being impacted in this. It's not a just me type of thing.
Mm, mm. How do you tackle because you mentioned it race as opposed to training. How do you tackle the two in your mind? Because when you get to a start line and you're looking across and you might see someone that beat you the last time or last year, do you go through a game plan in a race as opposed to, well, we ran this course 2 weeks ago in a training run, I should be okay?
No, because I think every day is different. So I wouldn't, I like to live by the code that every dog has his day. So anyone's beatable on race day. Anyone can run bad on race. Anyone can run wild on race day. So
Yeah, when you at the end of Saturday, what were you telling yourself? Because obviously, like you said, you used it as just a base to see where you were at. Obviously, you've run this race now, or you've run that distance now. I saw you doing your warm down and your cool down and so forth. But where do you think you are at getting ready for another one 2 weeks from now?
I think I'm running into pretty decent shape actually. Wouldn't say I would be at my best, but I'm definitely getting close to where I would like to be. To actually try to run fast, especially in like the 1,000 and a mile, which you're looking at 3 to 4 weeks from now. So I think that's what I was telling myself after the race. Was like, all right, you see where you are. Now let's build off of this and get some momentum and keep the ball rolling.
Right, right. The next one you have the 600 and 300, the odd race. Do you see yourself trying to compete in both, or just do one and kind of take the rest of the day off?
So I think the next one is actually the 800,
800 is the
and the following
primary
week's a
one. Yeah.
1,000. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll probably end up just doing the 800 there, because I think that 800 is the last event.
Mhm.
So anytime it was earlier, I would probably have done 800 and then maybe done the 300 just for like some additional training. But with that being 800, I'd probably just do that.
Yeah. How technical at the National Sports Center? How technical is the 800? Because people just think, well, the fastest guy is going to win. But as we know, there are wind conditions at the stadium where on one side you're going to have a headwind, another side you're going to have a tailwind and so forth. But how technical is it to run the 800 at the stadium?
Um, yeah, no, people don't really realize that back straight can get a little windy. And in the typical 800 race, that last 300 is the hardest part of the race. So not only are you becoming fatigued, now you're also running into a headwind. So I know people that come here and haven't really run here, and that back straight has now felt like 200 meters as opposed to just 100 meters, just because you're getting tired, legs are heavy, chest is pounding, and then on top of that, the wind smacking you in your face. But when you're sitting in the stands, you can't really notice it, but then that little drop down. So I think it adds a little bit of excitement, because then it makes that last 200 or 150 fast, because then you have that pushing you to the finish.
Mhm. Yeah, looking at how you ran that last 200 on Saturday, obviously you wanted to finish and you wanted to finish strong, but
Yeah.
that breeze at your back going down the backstretch, and then obviously you want to stand up straight running into that wind because it was a slight breeze into the finish, as I noted with
Yeah.
Grant Rivers, he was throwing with the wind at his back, so obviously the win is in your face as you're finishing the race. But looking at how you finish strong and straight up, I think the form is there. It's just that little more extra work needed, and that competition mindset. Because, like you said, training is one thing, competition is another.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, like you said, the competition. I think that these next three ones, I think we can get the juices flowing with Lamont, Chris, and I. I think we can create a little bit of a friendly competition or friendly rivalry, because I think we'll all bring in three different styles of running and three different styles of training and racing. And at the end of the day, like what we're doing is hopefully to push the sport higher. Have some people take notice, see like, hey, running is still big in Bermuda. There's still talented people here that are trying to accomplish big things. So hopefully that just us three get in the right environment, weather's good, little smack talk before and after, little banter, and just get things going like that. And I think, create a good environment for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's the key there because everybody likes to see that and hear that. And it's friendly, a little banter. Not your day today is my day. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But then, it's almost like the cat and mouse game. You're saying one thing, but you in your plan you have something totally different to do. But it's good to see that you guys are back on the track and looking to bring some more interest into the event. Also, they've thrown in the javelin, the long jump. So having other events going on at the same time, it also breeds more excitement because not only will you guys be battling out on the track, but you also have those people who will be battling out in high jump and javelin and in the long jump, which we haven't seen in almost 8 months.
Yeah. That's really the ultimate goal of this is just to, bring people who are fans of the sport, or even if you're not a fan of the sport, just see, a lot of times you might see us running on the road and don't really know what we're running for, training for, but now, we're telling you, all right, so here's these competitions coming up, come and watch, come support some local athletes. It's free of charge. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing you on October 10th. Putting in that extra mile and so forth. Just looking forward to seeing you out there with that stride, with that smile, and all the best over the next the next 6 weeks because it's an event every 2 weeks to give you a chance to recover and do some extra training. So we look forward to you running that 800 on October 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm glad. Again, it's very glad that Lamont, took the initiative and essentially rallied the troops and really pushed for this to go because the sport can use stuff like this. Maybe at the end of this in 3 weeks, maybe we don't run fast, or maybe there's a national records, but now maybe we've got now 10 younger kids that now want to do track and field, or someone who used to do it and now they're saying, hey, look, these guys are still doing it at 25, 30. Chris is hitting 40. Like there's still opportunity. There's still room for me to grow and get something from the sport. So I think that's at the end of the day, if we do that and people get involved and interested, for me that's job done.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Go and enjoy the rest of your training day, and we'll see you on October 10th.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Thank you.